What does it take to kill a hero? How do you wrap up a multi-story arc in a satisfying yet emotionally vindicating way? When your hero takes their final breath, what legacy will they leave? Killing a character is complex. In any story, the death of a character comes with a degree of finality and emotional weight. The killing of a character cannot be frivolous. It must impact the direction of the narrative. Death gives life meaning, and the death of a character has to reflect the emotional impact that occurs in real-life traumas. The death of a character means leaving behind a life you have created, and in 2017, 17 years after Hugh Jackman first donned the claws of Wolverine, Logan showed us the right way to say goodbye to a much-loved hero. Robert McKee states that the function of character is to bring to the story the qualities of characterization necessary to convincingly act out choices. Put simply, a character must be credible. He goes on to say that each character must bring to the story the combination of qualities that allows an audience to believe that the character could and would do what he does. Creating a credible protagonist boils down to the assignment of motivations and actions. James Mangold, Scott Frank, and Michael Green, the writers of Logan, were faced with the task of depicting an aging hero, whilst making their acts of heroism believable and exciting. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, Mangold explained the process of creating the ultimate final villain for Jackman's Wolverine. It struck me that the only thing Logan was truly terrified of was intimacy, vulnerability, emotional dependency. I wondered whether Logan's nemesis in this film could simply be love in its purest form, family. The writers don't shy away from pushing the object of family within the film, as by page 10 we are introduced to Logan's father figure throughout the X-Men franchise, Charles Xavier. The first interaction between the pair in the script perfectly reflects a dysfunctional relationship between a father and a son, with Charles going as far as calling Logan a disappointment. Charles and Logan share similar character traits, with both men living long and painful lives. They are both aging heroes that are suffering due to their mutations. Charles's mind is crippled to the point of insanity, and Logan's healing factor is slowly failing him. This bleak exchange between the pair contrasts the heroism of past X-Men films and perfectly sets the tone of the narrative.
What a disappointment you are.
Logan's relationship with Charles is complicated further when Laura enters the narrative. Logan's view of Laura at the start of the narrative is negative, with her providing an inconvenience to his equilibrium. However, we soon see that viewpoint shift when Laura's mutation is revealed. As seen in the script, Logan's reaction is one of shock. This moment is key in constructing the emotional dilemma of the film, with Logan's attitude shifting when he realizes that there are more people like him. Laura is his second chance. The writers treat Logan as a reluctant father figure, and this links directly to his fear of intimacy. Logan remains reluctant to interact with Laura on a level that is anything above begrudging. With Charles' health deteriorating throughout the journey, it becomes clear that Logan's dream of escaping with his friend can never come to fruition. Instead, it's Laura's arrival at Eden that becomes the prominent goal of the narrative. John Yorke states that killing someone close to the main character is a clever way of providing motivation and informing their decisions in the film's final act. With McKee focusing on the credibility of a character's actions, we can see how Charles's death is a turning point in the narrative. The scenes at the Munson family farm provide a reflection of what family life should be like for our protagonists. The moment at the dinner table is widely considered to be one of the most thought-provoking in the entire X-Men franchise, with two staples of heroism finally being able to live their lives as normal people. Charles and Logan speak in this scene without any reference to the heroic feats that they have achieved throughout their lives. Instead, around this table, they are another dysfunctional family facing obstacles and issues. Charles' death at the end of this sequence is a hugely evocative and emotionally empowering conclusion for the character. The final line from Charles in this entire franchise is, "Our boat, our Eden." Wrapped up in the end goal of Logan and Laura's journey, Charles finds himself at the end of his own road. In his final monologue, Charles explains, "I'm done running," whilst telling Logan that he finally understands the burden he carries. This moment remains in keeping with the tone of the film, with Charles's resolution being shared with the representation of Logan's brutal past, X-24. Charles's death signifies a poetic ending for the character, whilst providing emotional trauma for the hero of our story, Logan. In the end, he is the last of his generation, and all he has left is Laura. McKee's thesis of credible actions creating credible characters is displayed in the final act of the film, with Logan changed following Charles's death. His outbursts of rage return, and we begin to see the relentless animal that featured throughout the X-Men films. However, Logan's relentlessness is channeled into a determination to take Laura to Eden. Whilst his body continues to fail him, Logan's final act is to inject himself with the poison that caused his mutation. He decides to fight to save a generation of mutants that could be better than his ever was. One of the most painful aspects of Logan's character is his inability to save the people he loves. He wasn't able to save Jean, and he wasn't able to save Charles. However, he is able to save Laura. Logan's lasting legacy in this franchise is to reflect the person we all become, rueing the weakening of our bodies and determined to improve the world for those that follow us. Logan is, by the end of the film, human. His mutation fades, and in his final moments, we are watching an old man saying goodbye to his daughter. Logan's final lines are remarkable examples of how dialogue can be deployed to reward long-term fans, whilst also striking a chord with casual ones. Logan says, "Don't be what they made you," a callback to the immense regret he feels for the damage he once caused. Born to do the bidding of those who represented evil, Logan matures into a caring protagonist with a desire to protect. Just like Logan, Laura is born with a purpose to inflict harm and serve others. While she is young and her aggression is apparent, Logan's tutorship provides her with the same lessons he learned from Charles. In fact, in the death of Charles, Logan becomes the professor figure not just to Laura, but to the rest of the young mutants.
This is what it feels like.
I'm not sure there is a better final line for Logan. After years of suffering, watching the people he loves die, Logan arrives at his own end. As a seemingly immortal being, Logan reaches the decisive moment of mortality. Like all of us, Logan has no idea what it feels like to die, but having lost so many, and now faced with Laura, the representation of a better future, Logan can embrace his final moments. The writers describe Logan's final look as a flicker of wonder. This line is almost poetic in the way it concludes Logan's arc. A man that has known nothing but war, a man that has lost so much, a man that feared the very essence of human intimacy, spends his final moments with a daughter he never thought he'd have. Logan is a human story that features those with superhuman powers. The idea of heroism takes a back seat, and instead it's the power of human emotion that takes center stage. Throughout the film, Logan becomes more human, veering away from the ruthless killer that opens the narrative. Taken under the wing of Charles and nurtured into a leader, Logan becomes the tutor and finds a second chance in Laura. So, how do you kill a character? Look no further than a perfect translation of character progression and conclusion. The death of a hero that can heal external wounds, but can never stop the pain inside. Logan is, in my opinion, a triumphant change in tone for the superhero genre, providing a remarkable conclusion to a 17-year arc. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to like, share and subscribe to Page to Screen. I'm Matt, and I'll see you soon.